All right. Hi guys, welcome to the live training for Carb Cycling 101. I'm glad you guys are here, and like I was just saying, it's a beautiful day in central Illinois if that's where you're at. So I appreciate you being on because I know it's so nice out and you probably want to be outside. So this training will probably last about 30 minutes and I will record it if you need to hop off early. And for those of you catching the replay, you can watch it at your leisure. So first I wanted to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about who I am in case we're new acquaintances. My name is Katie Harlan, and I am an online health and fitness coach, and I'm a digital marketer. I'm a mom of 3, and I've been coaching clients for 4 years now in lots of different ways. And I've been on my own fitness journey since I began 4 years ago, and I've experimented with lots of different programs, workouts, nutrition plans, and I've really found a happy place that I'll be sharing with you as far as being able to find results and feel really confident, but without obsessing over tracking everything and weighing foods and counting calories. That just isn't my style. So, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, but I really love the way I've been able to kind of come to that place that feels really good for me. And clients that are most successful with me are usually clients that like that approach too. People that like a lot of rules sometimes get frustrated with me because I give you some latitude, because really, you guys, what I've learned most that's made the biggest impact is that fitness and nutrition is so individual that if I say I want you to eat this many grams of carbs and this many grams of protein and I want you to exercise for this many minutes, like, it might not work for you, but it might work for her. And you really have such a unique formula coming into any fitness or nutrition plan that you have to do what works for your body. So that's what I love about this program, honestly, because we're kind of going down to the basics. Like, this is really simplified eating. By the end of this program, you're going to know how your body responds to carbs, how your body responds to fat, and which you prefer, if any. You're going to know where your energy is the highest. You're going to know if you prefer working out fasted or with some food in your belly. You're going to know when you feel bloated and what foods make you feel bloated. You're going to know all of that stuff. And then you're going to take that information and you're going to move forward creating your perfect plan, because there really is no one size fits all to fitness. If there was, there wouldn't be an industry for this, right? So that's what I want you to keep in mind as we go through this program. I'm going to give you some guidelines and we're going to stick to them as closely as possible so that you can figure out the formula for you. But keep in mind that it's super individual and we're all coming from different places. Okay? All right. So that's a little bit about me. I also teach group fitness. I've got 4 different certifications, and I recently this year added business coaching to my repertoire, and I'm really enjoying doing that. But I love working with ladies, especially in this fitness world, because, man, I just love seeing people feel the most confident and being their best self. So that's what I am hoping for you guys too through this program. All right, so carb cycling. Why carb cycling? And hopefully you've read the manual by now if you're here, where I printed it out, where I kind of explain what carb cycling is and why a person might want to carb cycle. But just as a refresher, carb cycling is a cool program because it, right now, one of the fads is super low carb, high fat. And that could be a whole training in and of itself. But yes, that's effective for fat loss, but a lot of people don't want to give up their carbs. And I am one of them. I like carbs, and I like using carbs for energy in my workouts. And life without any carbs sounds sad to me. So I don't want to do that. And I'm guessing if you're here, you feel the same way too. So carb cycling allows you to still enjoy those carbs. It allows you to still enjoy treats on the flex day, but it allows you to keep your body guessing, because we're going to do high carb, low carb, high carb, low carb. Your body is going to respond at a faster rate to what workouts you're doing, and it's going to stabilize your insulin levels in the body, and that's going to lead to fat loss. Another really great thing about carb cycling is that you're able to drop fat and increase muscle mass at the same time. I just got a text from my husband. That's never a good thing when we're in the same house, is it? So let's see, build muscle and lose fat at the same time. And, again, just keeping your body guessing. So that's why we are carb cycling in this group. I've been carb cycling on and off since December. And I say on and off because I believe that doing anything for a really long period of time, you're going to plateau. That includes fasting, that includes specific workouts, that includes calorie deficit programs, and that includes carb cycling. So I like to do like 3 or 4 weeks on, take some time off, try something different, or do a different strategy for a little bit, and then pick this back up. And that's what I encourage you guys to do as well. This is something you can do lifelong, long term, but you'll want to vary it in some way, shape, or form throughout, or your body will quit responding. So my husband and I had been researching carb cycling. Well, I say my husband. I had been researching carb cycling probably for 6 months prior to starting it, because I was really interested in it. But I was hesitant to begin because most of the programs I found were super heavy on the tracking and the macros and the weighing of the food, and I just didn't want to get into that. I think that strategy can be really effective if you like all those rules and those guidelines, but I also think that can lead to some sort of obsessive behaviors. And for me, it was just one more thing I didn't want to deal with. So I kept kind of researching and playing with it. And then I found a method that I was super excited about. It was just a guideline method. So it used lists of foods that you could eat on each type of day. Instead of having to track them, if you basically stuck to the lists of foods and followed the plan, it would work for you. And so I decided to try it, and I loved it. I was amazed at how easy it was. I was really also amazed at how much I loved low carb days, because low carb days are high fat days, and I love eating healthy fats. And that's one thing you guys might have to adjust if you have been used to a low fat diet. Some of you might be 21-day fix graduates. In the 21-day fix, which is a calorie deficit plan, it's a great plan, and you're definitely going to get results on it. But you can only sustain being in a calorie deficit for so long before your body stops responding and it lowers your metabolism and you stop burning as many calories when you're working out. But on that plan, you are restricted to one very small serving of healthy fat a day, no matter what calorie bracket you're in. And in this plan, we load up on the healthy fats on low carb days. Now, the reason why on the 21-day fix that you're only allowed one serving of healthy fat is just straight calories. Healthy fats have a high number of calories. So lowering those automatically lowers your calorie bracket and your calorie consumption. So you guys, if you're not used to eating healthy fats, hooray, it's so fun. You're going to get to add cheese and bacon and avocados, coconut oil, peanut butter, almond butter, soy butter. Amanda, you had a question about that. All of those good things on your low carb days. And we'll talk more about how you'll plan your meals in a second. Because I know some of you right away right now are saying, well, how much? How many grams of healthy fat? I know you were saying that, so I'm not going to give you an answer, but I'm going to give you some guidelines, okay? All right, so let's see. Okay, so we carb cycled. We did 3 weeks, which is what your program is. We did it super strict. So during our 3 weeks, we followed it to a T. We didn't have any cheats or treats except for on our flex day, and we didn't drink alcohol for the whole 3 weeks, just to try to clean out our system and see how that affected us. And honestly, that I really didn't miss alcohol, which, I mean, I'm not a heavy drinker, but I drink socially on the weekends and such. For you guys, you don't need to give up alcohol for the whole 3 weeks unless you want to, but I would recommend really trying to focus. This is a push, this is you paid for this program, you're in this group, you want to give it your all. So for 3 weeks, try not to cheat on, your 6 days that you're on high carb, low carb, and save your cheats for that flex day. You're going to find that it's really fascinating how you feel about that flex day. It's a little bit of a mind game, because your mind is going to want, like, I'm going to load up on everything I haven't had all week. But then when you get there, you're not really going to want it all, because you're changing the composition of your body. You're changing your cravings, and so that's an interesting thing that you'll experiment with and find in this program. So on average, my last group lost between 5 and 10 pounds during the 3 weeks. I had people lose less and I had people lose more. But everyone loved how they felt. Everyone loved what it did for their knowledge of their own body, and, like I said, what they were going to do moving forward. It's definitely a super clean diet, those 6 days a week. So you're eating very clean foods, which means minimally processed, and you're really making your workouts work for you, which we'll talk more in a second. Okay, so we already talked about about my style a little bit, how I'm not really big on macros or tracking or calorie counting. However, I think there is a place for those things. So let me give you an example of when you might want to do that. If you are a person that has no experience with playing with your nutrition or changing it up, and you do not have any idea how many calories you consume on a regular basis, I think tracking for a few weeks is a good idea, so you can establish your baseline. If you have no idea how many calories you consume on a regular basis, that's a good thing to know. Just moving forward for your whole life, that's a good piece of information to be aware of, because then you can adjust it depending on your goals. So a really great way to track it is an app, MyFitnessPal. Put it on your phone and you can just log your food. You don't need to do it obsessively. You don't need to weigh your food or anything like that, but MyFitnessPal is a really cool app. It's free, and it gives you a lot of information. One of the pieces of information MyFitnessPal gives is your macro breakdown. So macro stands for macronutrients, and macronutrients make up the food we eat: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So everything we eat fits into one of those categories. There are also micronutrients, but we're not going to talk about those. So on MyFitnessPal, there's a button you can click where it shows a pie chart with your breakdown of your macros. And playing with your macros is where you can really dial in, your nutrition. I wouldn't recommend worrying about your macros until you have this nailed down, until you have a really good understanding of your calories nailed down. But that's definitely something to consider moving forward if you want to hone in on your goals. So that's something moving forward. But I'm not going to cover it very much in this program. I talked about that. I've got a list over here. So you guys, what I'm providing for you is a framework. This is a framework for carb cycling. This is a framework for how to decrease fat and increase your muscle mass. But I want you to try to relax and not obsess, because nothing we're doing here is going to, if you had a little too much fat one day or a few too many carbs, it's not going to make or break your results, okay? So relax, and we're in this together. I'm going to help you troubleshoot, but I want you to really pay attention to how your body feels, how you feel in your clothes, how you look in the mirror, how much energy you have. I want you to focus on those things. Please do not get on the scale after a week and say, I haven't lost any weight. What am I doing wrong? I'm going to say, you shouldn't be on the scale, because I only want you to weigh today and take your measurements today and your pictures, and then forget about it for 3 weeks. I know that's hard. Some of us are, scale frequenters. But I don't want you guys to do that. I really want you to focus on how you are feeling during this process. Okay? Let's see. So you guys, we are going to be using intermittent fasting, which honestly, I think of these 2 strategies, it's probably like my favorite, because I can just pull it out when I need it. Carb cycling is a little more, requires a little more preparation, but intermittent fasting, I can just pull out of my pocket when I need it. Like, I just got back from a vacation and I was just into some bad eating habits. I started fasting. I dropped the weight I had gained. I felt better immediately. It was just, it's easy, and I love the energy I have with it. But I didn't want to add too many things at once. So we're going to start with carb cycling for the first week to lay the foundation of the clean eating and those habits. And then in week 2, next week, I'll do a training again like this with intermittent fasting, and we'll add it on. You're gonna love combining the 2. Combining these 2 approaches, you guys, is like the best combination. It's gonna rock your world. You're gonna love it. Okay, so let's talk about building your meals. And in the manual, I gave you some samples of low carb and high carb meals. So I want you to use that to build your plan. Let me find this. Oh, I see that I'm missing page numbers on this. Okay. So just as a reminder, your high carbohydrate days are going to have lower fats, and the reason is because of calories. So just by nature of how the calorie breakdowns work with your macros, your low carb days are just going to be lower calorie days, just by default, because the calories in carbs won't be there. So you're just going to have a lower calorie day on low carb days. You'll be in a deficit. On your high carb days, you will be in a surplus. And that's just going to keep your body like, what's going on, and keep responding. Low carb days are high fat. You're going to have consistent protein throughout the week. So don't change the amounts of protein from day to day. Keep that consistent. On high carb days, you have low fat. That's the only difference there. So when you are building your meals, try to have a protein with each meal and a veggie. Don't worry about vegetables that, does this veggie have too many carbs? Don't worry about that. Veggies are pretty much free. Like, don't consider it a fat or a carb. It's just, you can have that. So it's a gimme. So a protein and a veggie with each meal if you can, and then you can, if it's a low carb day, you can add a healthy fat in. If it's a high carb day, take out the fat and add a carbohydrate in. So for example, here's a low carb menu. I'm just pulling it straight from the manual. Breakfast, this is low carb. 2 to 3 eggs with some cheese, maybe some bacon, and a handful of veggies. That's a really great meal, isn't it? 10 a.m. snack, celery with peanut butter. 1 p.m. lunch, you can do a chicken breast with some Swiss cheese, some sauteed mushrooms, spinach, 1/4 of an avocado. 4 p.m., a protein shake with coconut milk and water, and 7 p.m. dinner, 4 ounces of grass-fed beef, broccoli, and 1/4 of an avocado. So that's a pretty great day, isn't it, of eating? That's your low-carb day. Your high-carb day, conversely, here's a sample. Breakfast with eggs, same thing, but then add in oatmeal with berries, honey, and cinnamon. So all of your fruits are going to go on your high-carb days, because even though fruit is really great for you, fruit has so much sugar. And you guys, if on a low carb day, you're really, really tired, you're really dragging, you can have a handful of berries or something. It's not gonna, ruin your plan, but stick to the berries because they're lower in sugar. Protein shake with strawberries mixed in for a snack. For lunch, a spinach salad with chicken, berries, honey lime vinaigrette, and feta cheese. So that cheese, yes, it's a healthy fat, but feta has a lower amount of fat, and a little fat is fine. We're just not adding fat to every meal. For your snack, maybe a piece of fruit and a few squares of dark chocolate. Woo-woo! And dinner, salmon with broccoli and a potato. Okay, so trying to get veggies in with most meal, protein in with most, and then adding the carbs or the fats, depending on your day. Let's see. Oh, number of meals. So I talk about this in your menu as well. I am used to eating frequently because I work from home and I have the kitchen right next to me. If you prefer to only eat 3 regular sized meals a day, that's totally fine. You can totally do this program. You just need to make your meals bigger so that you are satisfied. Can bacon be regular or should it be turkey bacon? Yes, it can be regular. My husband and I played with this actually. We were noticing that our stomach was more upset when we were doing all the regular bacon. I love the taste of it, but it is super fatty. So do that if you want. I think I would recommend throwing some turkey bacon in there occasionally too. Okay, let's see. Good question. So when in doubt, you guys, as far as like what to eat, just keep it simple. I had some questions in the first group during the first week, like, I don't know what to eat. It's simple. Protein, some veggies, and either a high fat or a carbohydrate. And you've got your food list there. Throw in a sweet potato. Try to have sweet potatoes 2 or 3 times a week because they're like the #1 healthiest food for you. Sweet potatoes and blueberries and coconut oil. Throw in a potato. And yes, you can have some butter on it, even though butter is a healthy fat. It's okay to have a little butter on your high carb days. So when in doubt, just keep it simple. You can jazz it up and make it more exciting as you gain finesse with this strategy. But until then, just keep it simple. Some broccoli and chicken and some, fruit. That's a beautiful meal. Okay. Especially in the summertime when we can grill. You should not be hungry while you're carb cycling. If you are hungry, you need to stop what you're doing and eat. Eat some protein, eat some veggies. You should not be hungry. This is not a calorie deficit plan. We're not cutting calories here. So I want you to be eating the same amount of calories that you've been eating. Again, we talked about if you really don't know that, you might want to track so you have a baseline, but you really shouldn't be hungry, guys. We're playing with calorie deficits is something you can do, when you're adjusting your macros or if you want to try a different approach, but this approach is not about a deficit. It's about being at a maintenance level and then you play with the ups and downs, okay? So you really shouldn't be hungry. Now, when we add intermittent fasting, that's going to change things a little bit. You are going to probably experience some hunger when you add the fasting in, but we'll cover that next week. For this week, you should not be hungry, okay? Let's talk about, I'm just going to pause here. Does anybody have any questions? Do you want to type in the chat tool about what I've covered so far? I'm getting ready to cover workouts and pre-workouts. Okay, I'll keep going. All right, your workouts. So you need to keep your high intensity workouts on high carb days. Let's talk about examples. A cycling class, a longer distance run, a total body workout like body pump if you go to the gym, or grit, insanity. Anything that's going to get your heart rate up pretty high. It's going to make you sweat a lot. It's a longer workout. It's longer than 30 minutes. High intensity workouts should be aligned on your high carb days. So let's say that you already have your workout schedule set and you do your high workout intensity workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we start tomorrow with a low carb day, and you're like, well, shoot, what do I do? Just flip it. Just do what you need to do tomorrow. So whatever your workout is planned for tomorrow, if you have a plan, if it's a high intensity workout, make that your high carb day. Start where you need to start. Just keep your flex day for later in the weekend. Like save it for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Let's talk about pre-workout fuel. I really love to use Energize for my early morning workouts. It's a pre-workout formula. Some of you might have a different pre-workout. Pre-workouts are fine. Just read the ingredients and check the carbs, so that you have an awareness of how many carbs you're getting if you're using it on a low carb day. Yes, I still drink Shakeology while I carb cycle, but I don't drink it on low carb days because it does have a pretty significant amount of carbs in it, and I just save it for my high carb days. That is totally an individual decision. If you love how Shakeology keeps your digestion regulated and helps how you feel, then keep drinking it every day. It's definitely not gonna hurt you. I just prefer to keep my my carbs lower on those low carb days because I really love the healthy fats. So I'm fine with that. You guys decide though. There's not a rule for it. If you need help with designing workouts or coming up with workouts and you don't really know where to start, let me know. I can help you with that as well. Okay, somebody asked in my last group about what kind of snacks to have for low carb days, and so I just made a little list. I love making deviled eggs for low carb days because the mayonnaise, while not totally clean, it is a great source of fat. So I just use mayonnaise. I use a little apple cider vinegar. I use a little bit of stevia, and that's a really great snack for low carb days. Organic meat sticks, cheese sticks, veggies and hummus, almonds, cottage cheese. If you just have a protein shake, like just a whey protein, that's a great snack on a low carb day. Somebody asked about cottage cheese. I keep that in the protein category. And always do the high-fat version because those low-fat versions are just junk, in my opinion. Okay, so we talked about building your meals. We talked about the workouts. Let's pause here because it's almost been half an hour, and I can answer questions. Oh, there's some. What about soy as a protein source? Yeah, that's fine. Yep. You're going to be doing T25. Should I just follow the regular schedule that came with the program? Yes, I would, Amanda. I follow the regular schedule, but some of them are like double up. I think on Fridays you're supposed to double up. So I would definitely make that a high carb day. Some of them are just a little more intense than others. So you'll know. You'll once you start going through it, you'll know which ones you need more carbs for sure. And do I do a different protein shake on low carb days? No, Maja, I don't. I haven't purchased another protein shake. Like I'm a snob about protein shakes now. So I don't, but I don't think it's a bad idea. You know what I did do once though? I went to Smoothie King. They have some good options for protein shakes that you can make fit in with the low carb days, and that was really helpful. I don't remember what I got, but they have coconut water. I think I had coconut water to it, and there was a protein, and then like peanut butter. I don't know. I don't remember, but that's an option. If I go to Transform Fitness in the mornings, even though there's some high intensity workouts, 2 days in a row. Yes, Leah, I think so. I think I would make the body attack your lower intensity one because it's, I think of the two, that one seems to be lower intensity. But on that Wednesday, you might just need to add a couple berries to your, you might need a little more umph. Definitely a pre-workout might help that day. But you'll know how you feel. So here, I'll give you guys an example. I consider running a couple miles to be pretty low intensity. I usually, that's like a lighter cardio day because I am a slow runner. So it was a low carb day and I went for a run. But I went with my friend and she's like, let's run 4.5 miles. And I was like, okay. So we ran 4.5 miles and I felt great. But then the rest of the day I was like foggy. It was a low carb day. I was foggy. I was freezing. I had a bad headache. And my mom came over that night and she does low carb lifestyle. And she's like, you have the keto flu, which is what your body goes through when you're when you've overdone it on low carb with your exercise, and because I had done high carb the day before, so it was like my body was adjusting from that, and I had done it too much, and I was low on potassium. So I on low carb day you just get less potassium. So I drink beef bouillon in a cup, like with warm water, and that helped so much. But it's little things like that you're gonna find, like little things your body responds to. You're going to be fascinated to learn all the different foods and responses your body has to different foods and different styles. So you guys will know by how you're feeling. I'm a coffee lover and I know coffee's okay. What should or shouldn't be added to it? Okay. Bulletproof coffee is a great option for your low carb days. Yes, that's totally great. I drink my coffee with a coconut milk creamer. It does have some sugar in it, and I just do like a splash, like a tablespoon. And on my high carb days, I add honey, just a little, and on my low carb days, I just do the creamer, and I call that good because it's pretty low if you look at the amounts. So as a general rule, on your low carb days, you're going to try to stay under the 50 grams of carbs as a super general rule, okay, for those of you that like rules. And as a general rule, on your high carb day, it's about 1 gram or 2 grams per pound of body weight. That's about how many grams of carbs you're going to want on your high carb day, okay? Any other questions? Oh, is there creamer? It's called Better Half. It's almond and coconut. Good, awesome. Better Half. I don't think I've seen that. Cool. Any other questions? I know it's a lot of information. I'm going to guide you though each day. Oh, health food stores. Okay. I'm going to guide you each day. So every day in the group, I'm going to start the day with a post with something you can focus on that day. And then at night, we'll check in and I'll ask you guys how you did. Did you stick to the plan? Do you have any questions? How are you feeling? That kind of thing. So don't be nervous. I'm going to guide you the whole way. Just stick to the food list and pay attention to how your body's feeling. That's the biggest, my biggest piece of advice for the next 3 weeks. Okay, guys, any other questions? Okay, was that helpful? Too much information? Is your head spinning? All right, everybody, thanks so much for being on. Good. All right, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in the morning. Bye. Happy Saturday. Sunday, happy Sunday.